Hello friend, Jim here with JB's Big Adventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And yes, as you can see here, I'm here in Chapala and actually at the Chapala sign, but doing a very special video for you today that has everything to do with being able to live at Lake Chapala as a retiree. And that's exactly what this video is all about, of being able to do that. And I have on there for under $950. And some might look at that and says, you know what is it with that $950? Well, here's what I do know. I do know that the solvency requirements have greatly increased over the period of almost 4 years that we've been here. And which doesn't make it easy for everyone to be able to live here. So there are folks I know that are coming on a tourist visa. So they're basically here for 6 months, go back to the States or Canada, and then come back again. So this video is all about kind of highlighting life here, of being able to live on a cheaper way of doing things. Now, everyone's living standards and lifestyle are all different. There's no two of us that are exactly the same in regards to what we like, what we're willing to live, how we're willing to live, what kind of a home are we willing to live in, or are we willing to live in somebody's one bedroom, or are we willing to live in an efficiency or a studio apartment? So everybody's is different. But what I can share with you is my own personal experience and the experience I've heard and spoken with other expats that are living here. And when Barbara and I first came here to Lake Chapala, we had looked at a condo before when we came for basically 8 days in April of 2021. We were here for 8 days, and we had someone that we knew here. Well, I should say we had somebody that went to the church they introduced us to that actually had someone that they knew that owned a condo here at Lake Chapala. So they took us to see it, and it was on the second floor. It was $1,750. Nice place, but way out of our range. We were living on one Social Security check, and that was Barbara's, and that basically was for $1,400 a month. So what ended up happening is we went back to the States. We realized we could live on less here, and Barbara found a condo in that same development as a bungalow, so that means nobody was above us, and it was $650 a month. It included all the utilities, including high-speed internet, filtrated water, really a nice place. We're no longer there. Barbara wanted to get a dog. She's a dog rescuer, so we ended up, I promised her that after our year's lease was up, we would actually go somewhere where she in fact could have a dog. So what we ended up doing was moving somewhere that we were able to have a dog, and there also was $650. So we drove our car down. So when it comes to lifestyle and getting around, we already had a car because we drove it down. And it was actually right around $30 a month. I would say we spent probably $25 to $30 a month, and that would be for gasoline for the car. So what I want to go through is just a few things here for you to really see that if in fact, if you're willing to budget, if you're willing to let your lifestyle actually be not what everybody else would expect it to be, but what you're willing to live. What I'm wanting to share with you is 5 of the things. I actually have a 6th one also. But first of all, if you're coming here and you're needing to live within a means and you're only on Social Security, well, you're going to have to look at whether you rent or whether you buy. I'm just going to guess that you're not going to be able to buy, so your option would be rent. Now, I've seen places for rent. I'm not saying that they were big houses up on the hill with a lake view and all of that, but what I am saying is that I've seen them as low as $275. That was for a 1-bedroom apartment. And I've seen quite a few, just in my years of doing the videos and such, that are in the $500 and $600 range. That there are some that are really, really nice for that amount. I mean, when we were paying $650 a month, now that same place today, in fact, is going for $1,750, but it's a really, really nice place. So, you know, there's being here where we're at, we really feel grateful to have the opportunity of living here at Lake Chapala. And that's part of what helps us is the fact of our rent. So I just saw somebody recently online in one of the forums talking about how their rent actually was $230 a month and their monthly utilities were right around $8. So that's somebody that is actually doing it presently that I saw. So let's just say that the rent's $500. Next thing's going to be utilities. So electric, gas, and water. Now, if you find a place that's real inexpensive, chances are they're going to include the utilities with it. It isn't always the case, but it could very well be that that's what they end up and they're doing. So electric, water, and gas, if I had to think of a certain expense of what that would be, let's just say it's $10 to $15. I mean, we live in a 3-bedroom house, and I'm going to say that ours is about $20. That would be on a monthly basis. I'm sorry, that's every 2 months. So $10 a month. So that is one thing that actually you're looking at being an expense would be utilities. Second, I would say cut the cable. You can get internet here for as low as for 80 megs, and it's only $15 a month. You can get that through Telmex. Or what you could do is come and get internet, and then what you would do, you basically would have a Fire Stick, and that would be another way of being able to keep your rents on a lower scale. That way, you're being able to live within your means. Number 4 is transportation. That's an important thing. Now, as I mentioned, we drove our car down. So if you're driving a car down, that's really a no-brainer for you. But for someone that comes down that doesn't want to have a car, a popular option here is actually having an e-bike and getting around on that. Also, if you're looking at, let's say, for example, gas costs, as I said, we probably spend between $25 and $30 a month when it comes to gas costs. And but if you take public transportation, you can go from Chapala or Hocotepec to Chapala, the 20 miles in between, and you're going to be looking at right around 50 cents. That's 50 US cents. If you want to go to Guadalajara, you can take the direct bus that actually goes from Chapala or even from San Antonio by the mall that goes to Guadalajara, and there you're looking at about $2 for that ride. That's right. So for about $4, you can do a round trip ride to Guadalajara on the bus. As I mentioned, e-bikes are real popular. There is actually a bike path that goes all the way from Chapala and the 20 miles to Hocotepec. That actually is a place that, you know, it's really enjoyable to ride a bike because the fact the bike path is actually the entire stretch of distance. So that's another way of being able to get around. That's something that you'd be looking at. Now let's talk about food. Now, what Barbara and I found out right off the bat was it was actually cheaper for us to eat out. I'm vegetarian, she's not. Cheaper for us to eat out than it is to cook at home. Now, if you are going to decide to eat at home, which I know a lot of people do, you have access to local fresh fruits. The local markets have fresh fruits and vegetables that they're really good. So every day you can get fresh fruits and vegetables. And yes, those are also inexpensive. There's a couple different marks. The Tianguis, there's one in Chapala on Mondays. There's one on Tuesdays in West Ajijic. There's also one in Ajijic that's on Wednesdays. So you get all kinds of fresh fruits and vegetables there. That was number 5. Number 6 is about a cell phone. Now, Barbara and I came down here and we actually have T-Mobile. And so we've been using our service the entire almost 4 years that we've been here utilizing T-Mobile service. And we have the same phones. And so I know that here locally, if you want to get, for example, like an e-card, a SIM card, Mexican SIM card, to be able to use your cell phone here, they are as low as $5 a month. So it's pretty inexpensive if that's what direction you want to go when it comes to communicating and being able to be connected with those that are important in your life. So basically $5. So if we add all that up, rent at $500, utilities at $15, internet at $15, transportation, now I put in here $50. Now, if you don't have a car and you're not driving at all, but would you say that $50 is probably on the high side? So I wanted to go to the high side versus the low side. So transportation, $50. Food. Now I checked online to find out what the average cost was for a senior, a single person that is a senior. This was actually, I want to say it was 62 and older. The average monthly food cost is between $280 and $300 a month, which I would say for some could be on the high side. But let's just say that that's what it is. All of this together, it's just under $900 a month. Can you live on that? Now, again, all our standards are different. It might be that you want to live in a nicer house, and but if you're someone who really tries to make sure you're living within your means, I mean, you've got the ability to being able to live here very inexpensively for less than $900 a month. If you're solely on Social Security, still, again, we're talking about less than $900 a month. So the nicer a place that you want to go to, the more it's going to be. So that's something you can actually work out on your own of what that cost would be. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you are able to see what it would cost and what the fees would be and such if you're coming and you want to be able to live here, but financially you're really strapped. So I hope these numbers have been something that give you a good life, a good line to go by. And also, if you're living on Social Security and you want to live in paradise, that you're able to do that. In fact, thinking about that, let me just show you here where I'm at so you can get an idea of what I'm seeing. In fact, let me start this way here. So let me just come this way. There's the Chapala sign that everybody gets their picture taken at. So you get a chance here just seeing what I'm seeing. So again, friend, I hope that this has been helpful for you. And I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting this community. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.